Welcome to this video. My name is Elle, or the Marketing Blondie, and I make videos about social media marketing and internet marketing for online coaches and experts. So basically, this is the first video in my little training series that I'm doing about basically how to just break onto the scene with your online coaching business, or maybe a course creator or online service provider. And in this video, I'm going to talk about can you really be an expert as a beginner, and how to basically start, just how to start. So just how to start your coaching business even as a beginner, and maybe as someone who doesn't have much experience. Maybe you haven't had any clients yet and you really just have your own transformation, or even if you've just been you're just self-taught, so you've just been learning about the thing that it is that you want to help other people do. And I think that there's a lot of conflicting advice. So in this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts, and you're going to walk away from this video hopefully knowing exactly how you can break onto the scene as a new coach. So the first thing that I want to discuss though is this whole kind of, can you really be seen as an expert when you're not an expert, ultimately when you're just a beginner. So I've got some notes on my laptop here in front of me, so I'm just gonna, if you see me like this, it's because I'm referring to my notes. So I have done a few calls with a few coaches who are really like just starting out, and one of the biggest blocks that they have is thinking that they're not experienced or qualified enough yet to teach on the subject. And I totally get it, and actually, in some respect, I think that it's true. Can you really kind of go out and position yourself as this leader and this authority when really it's something that you've only just started doing? And I think that the way to look at it is that if you had like a company or a corporate company or even a startup who were hiring, who wanted to hire someone for a position, and you had one person who had, maybe they wanted to hire someone like a little bit junior, and you had like one person who had no experience and no education on the topic whatsoever, but they were like willing to learn and they had a good attitude. And then you had the other person who had no experience but had maybe been to university or had some kind of education on the subject. So like I said, like maybe uni or college or whatever it is, maybe some sort of external qualification. Like, it's not rocket science to know that the person with the knowledge is gonna have a higher value in the employer's eyes as the person who doesn't have anything at all. You would naturally kind of gravitate towards the other person with the qualification or the knowledge or the education in the thing that you wanted to hire them to do. And obviously, I know this sounds a bit funny that I'm talking about, being hired and stuff as an employee, but it's kind of an important lesson to remember when you are kind of doubting yourself as an expert and kind of doubting your experience, because ultimately it doesn't matter where your knowledge has come from. It could be self-taught, you could have paid someone else for it, you could have just found it for free, whatever it is, you could have got it from uni. It's your value and your self-worth is perceived to be higher when you genuinely know a lot about the topic and about the subject, even if it's kind of only in theory. The only way you can ever get something out of theory mode and into practical mode is if you just do it. And obviously, when you're kind of starting your business, particularly if you're like a business coach or a marketing coach, or ultimately you're in the make money online space, the only way for you to test out your own skill set and knowledge on the subject is to do it for your own business. You've got to get out there and you've got to start trying to grow your own business. So it's kind of like, it's a bit of a chicken and an egg thing. It's like, well, how can I get out there and start creating content and sharing this knowledge when it's also I'm actually doing it for myself for the first time? But that's the beauty of the journey, and that's the beauty of documenting exactly what you're doing. and being honest and having kind of honesty, vulnerability and integrity around that, so that you're not kind of coming out and saying, I own this massive, 6-7 figure company and I have loads of clients, but you're saying, okay, like this is what I know, this is what I'm applying right now to my own business, that's why you're watching this video. That's what you would say. And you're kind of practicing what you preach, and also keeping it very real and being honest that you're also on the journey, and you're documenting your journey and you're documenting your results, what's working, what's not working. And if people want to follow along for the process and learn from you, with you along the way, then obviously that's kind of how you get the business growing. And if you're kind of not in the business space and you're maybe in a different, you coach a different topic within health, wealth and relationships, then just make sure that it is a transformation that you have kind of embodied yourself before you go out and start teaching on it. I'm not saying that you have to be, if you're a fitness coach or a nutritionist, I'm not saying that you have to be in the best shape and the best form of your life, but ultimately if you have experienced some of your own transformation, then you really need to have done that first, because obviously people are looking for proof of concept, and they're looking for proof that what works. So yeah, that's what I would definitely say as my advice for when you're starting out. So I know that could keep a lot of people held back. Chicken and egg, do I get experience before I start this, or do I start this and then get the experience? Do I do it at the same time? Like, what do I do? And this is ultimately what I'm doing. So I spent, the best part of 3 years, I guess, learning everything that there is to know, for example, about social media and internet marketing, but I never did it for anyone. And I didn't want to go and do it for anyone. I didn't want to go and be employed by someone to do it for them. I wanted to really take advantage of this new skill and apply it to my own business and be self-employed. So I was like, okay, like how can I do that? Well, I can just start. And the easiest place for me to start was to start creating content, start sharing what I had learned personally, putting some of those things into practice. It doesn't make it unethical, it's just you just going and sharing what you know. Ultimately, nobody owns knowledge. Knowledge can't be copyrighted, it can't be patented, it can't be owned. When you have a transfer of knowledge from one very, very experienced person to a person who's just starting out, does it make that knowledge any less valuable? Well, I don't think so. Obviously, with the person with a lot of experience, they've got experience with overcoming certain obstacles and things like that in the field, and that's really what you're gonna, if you paid them to be your coach, that's really what you're going to be paying for. But ultimately, the knowledge is still exactly the same. It doesn't really matter where you got it from. If you think about, college and university professors who teach on these topics, if you had a lecturer who taught marketing, okay, but have they ever owned a business or like marketed their own business, or that like a lot of the time they've not actually got that high tier kind of experience themselves. They're just like teachers. They learn from someone else and then they're kind of going and teaching other people, or other students. So it's kind of the same thing. You wouldn't think, I don't want to learn off this person because they've never run, they've never marketed a 7 or 8 figure business. You take the information for what it is. It's knowledge, it's value. You're still paying for it. It's still kind of an exchange of value there. So that's what I would say for the first video. I'm not super experienced with doing these videos, so if this was a bit awkward, then I'm sorry. I've picked a really bad day to shoot these videos. It's miserable. Storm Otto is like here, it's grey. I've got like all of the lights on. I've got my ring lights on. I'm trying to make the lighting a bit better. And I also picked the same day to record my videos as my washing. So I've got the tumble dryer on, I've got the washing machine on. You might hear it in the background, sorry. I'll catch up with you in the next video, and have a good day, and I'll see you soon.